Welcome everyone to Chief Chat number. Actually, I should start numbering them. What do you think we're at, Ronan?
Oh dear God, I would have to go back and check, but I think it's more fun if we just make numbers up.
Okay, welcome to Chief Chat 3657. I am your host, game designer, game director, Grummz. How is everyone today? Papa Grummz is here.
Papa Grummz.
Oh, you gotta do some voiceovers. That was good. Can you say "in a world" in that voice?
Oh Lord, hold on. Let's. In a world where one man has one dream.
Yes, we got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the trailer voice.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, that's really good, Ronan.
Thank you.
Hey, since the cat is kind of out of the bag, I'm going to go ahead and release the Valentine skin and share it with you right here today. You guys ready? Here it comes. Yeah, no teasing. We're just going straight to it. Today's skin is Valentina. Valentina is not just a skin. Valentina is an OPAI. So this is a companion, an AI companion for all your piloting needs. For those of you who don't know, OPAIs are fully sentient AIs that it's kind of like your Cortana that you bring along with you with your OmniFrames, and you can have multiple OPAIs if you wish, and they each have their own personality and they each have their own sort of progression path. And they help with battlefield awareness, weapon systems controls, and a bunch of other tasks. And the idea is that you can also interact with them. There is some dialogue, and there is a. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Valentina. Valentina is an OPAI, and her incept date is on Valentine's, February 14th, the year 2287, which is the year that Home docked in orbit. Now that's new. For you lore hounds out there, we just dropped the date. That date has not been revealed yet. And her blurb is this: Valentina achieved full consciousness on Valentine's Day 2287, the year Home docked in orbit around Ember. As tradition, she chose her own name. The decision was easy for her. Inspired by the love she saw the day she opened her eyes, Valentina knew that hope and love could help turn the tide of battle and win the war against the Tsihu. This is why she fights alongside her pilot with such passion and a love for all Gatestriders. It's a little special Valentine's. We haven't done a Valentine skin before. This is our first real Valentine skin. What do you guys think? Not too cheesy. Oh, come on. We're anime. We have to have the tropes. I was gonna think about the Valentine's festival that the Gatestriders have. I'll post it again because the messages fly. I know I can tell people like it because the messages are flying by. So I got to repost the image a couple times. So yes, the nice advantage of OPAIs is that they don't have to wear anything practical. Yeah, they will be voiced differently. And in fact, one of the M3 milestone perks was having Laura Post do the voice of one of the OPAIs. And we haven't designed her OPAI yet. Yes, it's Arrow. She voiced Arrow in Firefall. Nope, it's real artwork, Granga. I don't know if you've been following us, but we have a range of things. We also have a filter system. You can choose whether you want to see this stuff or not. And you can filter it on meta tags. So if you want stuff that's, if you're uncomfortable with stuff like that, you don't have to have that. No, the OPAI outfit is not a skin. That allows us to take certain liberties with and make OPAI outfits fancier because they don't have to fit into battle frames. I'm sorry, Omni frames. Did I say battle frames running?
I didn't hear anything.
Hmm. Good. Strike it from the record.
Thank you, Giga. Yes. Yeah, legally distinct.
So yeah, so if Granga, I don't know what Discord you stepped into, but we're not about all complaining about her internal organs here. So if you stepped into the wrong chat room, I'm sorry. Again, it's your choice. There are filters. You don't want that stuff, you can turn it on, and you'll just see default outfits for people. That includes out of lore stuff, not just the kind of like sexier stuff, right? So if you don't like to see funny stuff like beer hats, we had beer hats in Firefall. There will be a option setting. You can say, "Hey, I only want to see in lore stuff." So it's about choice. We're about choice here, and in fact, my wife loves these outfits, and she's always pushing me to do more of these. Um, you know, so I don't try to tell her what she can wear in games, and I don't think you should either. You got a choice, dude. She's a strange looking mecha. She's not a mecha, Sai, obviously. They manifest as holograms in UI as well as in the scene, and they also do have development curves. So the more that you use an OPAI in your piloting of your Omni frame, the more you interact with them, the more you will form a bond with them, and that bond lets you pilot and get passive perks for your Omni frame to have certain tactical advantages. So there's a whole progression path that I want to do for OPAIs, and
Did
there's
you say
also oh, go ahead. What?
did you say development curves? Development curves? I think we're looking at those right now.
Hey, Granga, I think you said your piece. We get it. We get your point. And, it is a choice. Your choice to be here is also a choice. You don't have to be here. If you continue to disrupt the chat room, we will ban you and mute you, though. All right, let's move on. So, uh, there are development paths uh, for these OPAI, and you can have different types. And of course, we have husbandos as well as waifu OPAIs, equal opportunity. We haven't shown any husbando ones yet. I think we should. I think it's about time that we should do that. Not today, though. But the other thing that I dropped in that bit of lore was a date. 2287 is the year home docked in orbit around Ember. And I'd like to share with you a little bit more of the lore. How many of you have read the Vision book and know some of the lore of Ember? Like the pre lore. Some of it? A lot of you. Yes, the diehards have all read it. maybe maybe she can use thickness as a weapon or nosebleeds. That's funny. Um, you even saw the typos. Yes. We are going to edit the lore of the Vision book. That's one of the projects we're working on. Because the Vision book was, remember, a lot of it started, a lot of that lore was written for the tabletop, which was sort of like the founding of humanity, the rise of the different colonies, and the setting for that tabletop game, which is basically spaceship focused, not mecha focused. And I wanted to move the Vision Book lore for Ember to concentrate more on the rise of the Gatestriders. We don't know, we spent a lot of time talking about the lore leading up to the Inshigi, and I think that we need to shift the focus more to, well, what role did the Gatestriders play in all of this? The Vision Book is available for any backer. All right. See you later, Granja. Sorry, you've made your point, and now you're just being a troll. So sorry about that. See you later. All right. So, uh, back to the lore. Sorry about that interruption, folks. Some people just want to hog chat, and we understood the point, and we have plenty of choices in life and in the game. We're very generously offering many filters you can use to control that sort of stuff to tailor the game's lore to your liking. All right. So I want to shift the vision book more towards, who are the Gate Striders? How did they rise up, to become the premier explorers of the universe? And what happened to them where they got into trouble? What exactly happened out there? And what are these banned areas of space that the Inshigi have blocked off that have become sort of the mythology? And part of that is a timeline. We're going to be putting a timeline in there, and I'm going to share that with you right now. So, as you know, the Inshiki rose to power as a way to defeat the Axis powers in World War II, right? And because the Axis power in this alternate history actually won. And so this was a bad thing, obviously. I get people saying, wait, does that mean you support Axis powers? No, no, I do not support Axis powers. I most certainly do not. This is about how, and this is a theme that actually came about, years before it's actually happening sort of today. The Inshigi represent a technocracy, right? Or how do you pronounce that word? Technocratic society. Basically, they said that, hey, listen, instead of making decisions emotionally about, countries and tribalism and humanity, that the only thing that we can really count on is science and facts. And so the Inshigi was formed by all the top scientists in the world, and they sort of created a council to sort of like run humanity and to lead humanity into the future. And the problem is they became probably too embroiled in science and ignored the humanity factor of the world. That the council was making decisions about who gets medical treatment, who lives or dies, based purely on math and science, right? With increasingly less and less empathy and less humanity. And so what happened was there was a giant rebellion. The Inshigi rose to power from 1945 to 2010. And since the world was run by science, science in the world of Ember or the universe of Ember was greatly accelerated, right? So, technological, all the budget went to science. All these, not to militaries anymore. The world was united, and humanity saw progress in leaps and bounds because of this. And because scientists were in charge, they efficiently allocated capital to scientific endeavors, and they became sort of like the elite of the planet. And unfortunately, as they became less and less human in nature and more uh, devoid of sort of like any understanding of what the rest of humanity was like, they became more and more isolated in their rulership of Earth, and there was a growing disgruntlement in the planet to the point where there was actually rebellion against the Inshigi, and the Inshigi were hounded to extinction. It was a genocide against the elite technical ruling class of Earth. Except that the Inshigi had already anticipated this because they're very, very smart. In fact, they've sort of like they were on a different evolutionary track from the rest of humanity, and they actually left the planet. They created spacecraft, and they left the planet, right as the rebellion was happening, and they had already selected who was going to go and who was going to stay. It was a very logical, rational choice, and the ones who stayed knew that they would be, exterminated, and the ones who left went to a secret location in space in order to found a sort of like enlightened branch of humanity that was significantly more advanced than anybody else. Well, the rest of humanity was shocked because nobody knew that they had the capacity for interstellar travel. And so when the Inshigi left Earth in 2087, right, I'll repost the timeline here. for everybody. When the Inshigi left Earth in 2087, the rest of humanity entered a intense space race, right? Not because they wanted to get off the planet uh, for any other reason than the fact that they were very, very afraid because what they realized what they had done to the Inshigi was wrong, and they were very afraid of Inshigi vengeance. Okay, there's a typo in Inshigi there on the line. I'll fix that. I'll fix it right now in the document.
In Shiggy Vengeance, starring Chuck Norris. Me too, Norton.
Chuck Norris and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You came to the wrong planet. We're on the same note here. That's terrible.
Oh my gosh. and so Earth was scrambling. They say, well, we can't fall behind technologically if we don't leave the Earth, and start colonizing it. What if they come back and they try to destroy the Earth? What if they, with their superior technology? What if we don't know where they are? We better go and find them, and we better catch up with them so that they don't, because we've pretty much started a war with them at this point. The Inshiki thought no such thing. The Inshiki actually could care less for humanity at that point. They had their own agenda. Um, Part of them wisely realized that they were no longer human in the strictest sense of the word, that they had gone down a different path. But the rest of humanity was very afraid. And so they started a huge race to space. And by 2118, they finally left Earth in giant colony ships. All the nations were sort of competing. So there were all these nations got together in different blocks. You had like the Asian bloc, and you had like the Americas, and you had the Middle East, and they're all going out into space founding colonies, and they founded dozens of colonies. uh, and it took a very long time because they didn't have faster than light travel, so they were on generation ships. And over the course of a very of 150 years, they founded, I think it's 28 colonies. Lorehounds might correct me on this because I didn't actually look it up, and it's been a while since I've looked. Is it 28 colonies? I chose them based on their light years distance from Earth. How many could potentially be colonized? How many had the right stars or close to the right stars? And so they founded these colonies, and humanity diverged for 150 years. They, no, they were close to the speed of light. I had to do a little hand waving there. I couldn't make the journey take, forever. Let's just say that they found some way to actually get close to C. Yeah, 28 distinct star systems. And each of these adapted in different ways. So you had some of these colonies, basically, well, some died out, some adapted to their environments, some altered themselves genetically in order to survive. And the Gate Striders, they decided to use the power of mecha and robotics. So that was their specialty: mecha, robotics, AI, things like that. And they didn't want to change themselves. They wanted to stay human. They were worried that if they started genetically altering themselves, or if they used any sort of like external, any sort of like, fusion with AI, or any sort of genetic modification, that they could lose their humanity too. And so they stayed human as much as possible, and they use the power of mecha machines. And they do have AI, but they don't have any sort of merging with AI or anything like that. They're not like Neuralinked or anything with AI. Well, actually, they are in a way, but it's very, let's just say it's very restricted. It's very carefully monitored. And this is how they survived their own harsh world. And then for humanity diverged in different directions, and they had no contact with each other because it would take so long to visit with each other because of they didn't have faster than light travel. There was no war between colonies. There was no trade between colonies. There was no interaction. And what happened was they developed into very distinct ways. And so you can think of this as sort of like the races in D&D, that type of thing. So basically, they all went down different paths, and there could be some really interesting human types out there in the universe that we haven't seen in Ember yet. One of them we've shown is the Feli. The Feli are our Neko race, and they developed in zero G, and they thought it would be a good idea to sort of adapt some DNA from felines in order to sort of be able to always land on their feet in zero G, to be more graceful in that sort of environment. I'm making a big assumption here that cats would do well in zero G. They'd probably panic and flail. But let's just say that after a period of panic and flailing, cats got really good at living in zero G. And the Feli noticed this. And the Gate Striders, they're not homogenous. They're not all humans, right? Like they sort of recruit from around the galaxy, and so they are arranged into familial sort of structures, and they will go ahead and you can find Feli among Gate Striders, and they're counted as part of the family. So what happened was like what made the Gate Striders an incredible force to be reckoned with. It's because D gates were discovered in 2268. D gates are dimensional gates, and they are basically what enable faster than light travel between points. But the problem with D gates is if you build a gate, you don't know where it leads. Someone's got to go through it to check it out. Probes can't send stuff back. So the Gate Striders, being a very sort of risk taking, adventurous spirit. And you can kind of think of them as space cowboys, right? Like they're the Wild West. They're the ones that are, you know, leading wagon trains out into the West. They're actually scouting for the wagon trains, might be the better analogy. And so they were the fearless ones that would plunge through these D gates to see if there was anything worth exploring on the other side. And this made them phenomenally successful and phenomenally wealthy because corporations and planetary governments would sponsor them to explore and jump and take the incredible risk of jumping through these D gates. And after you jump through a gate, you brought materials back with you to construct a gate to go back home. So if you landed in a place that wasn't near anything habitable or didn't have a sun nearby for energy, if you couldn't get your gate constructed in time, you would die and you'd be stranded. No one would know what would happen to you. You would just go through the gate and you'd never be seen again. And the gate's destination is random. You have no idea where it's going to lead you. It could lead you into the center of a sun. So this was a very risky business, and the Gate Striders were paid very, very highly for it. Well, unfortunately, um, something happened, and they went through the wrong gate. And they were warned. The Inshiki had left a last message for humanity after humanity had sort of forgotten about them, and the Inshiki, but they were looking for them, right? Because they were worried that the Inshiki were out for vengeance. So the humanity sent out probes everywhere. One of these probes actually found an unusual structure around a star. And if you guys know the original art for that, you might know what I'm talking about. But they found a structure around a star, and that was the last thing that probe saw. That probe just vanished. And soon after that, a message was broadcast to all worlds. And I should clarify that although they did not have faster than light travel, they did have faster than light communications. Okay, so the colonies could all talk to each other, even though they couldn't visit with each other or trade. But the Inshigi tapped into this comm network, and they said, "Hey, uh, don't look for us. And by the way, here is a list of dark sectors in space that you should never, ever visit or explore." There was basically a ban list out there, and people had been trying to figure out for a long time what this was, and nobody could figure out why these spaces were banned. There was no rhyme or reason to them. It just seemed like randomly spread out throughout the cosmos. But unfortunately, Sildara Garrick wandered into one of these. Uh, and she made the decision to stay and explore for reasons which have yet been fully explored, but which will be explored in the novel. And when she did that, the Inshigi retribution was swift. As soon as it was discovered that she was in a dark sector, the Inshigi had launched an attack against the Gatestrider's sun and basically sent it nova uh, nearly immediately, which of course wiped out the Gatestrider homeworld. And all the Gatestriders were stranded in space at that point. Not only that, they were canceled by the rest of the galaxy. Nobody wanted to, after funding them, after giving them so much money and lauding them as the premier, explorers of the universe, suddenly nobody wanted anything to do with the Gate Striders because the Gate Striders had made a big mistake. Their homeworld was destroyed, and nobody else wanted to put their homeworld at risk. Now, what's interesting is I wrote all this before the rise of cancel culture and everything else. Isn't this interesting? I think it's pretty interesting. And so the Gate Striders were canceled, and they had to basically band together what was left of the Gate Strider community, which was, of course, spread out through through these star systems and on starships. And they brought back everybody. Oh, it was canceling because they wouldn't get any help. No planet would accept Gate Strider refugees, and no planet would fund or give equipment to the Gate Striders. So the Gate Striders, all they had left was whatever spaceships and mechs and outposts that they had, and they put it all together. They built in a massive space station that they called home, and they actually it's so big that in the center of home there's actually land, right? There's actually grass and there's actually farms, and in the middle of it is a small city. Think Macross, but bigger than Macross. And they built this thing, and all the families, all the major families, came together and docked onto this spacecraft on the perimeter of it, and they went looking for a new homeworld since they wouldn't be accepted anywhere else. And so what happened was they looked and they looked for 2 years and they couldn't find anything. And finally, they did find something. And actually, Sildara Garrick was the one who found it. Sildara Garrick found Em-8er. And Em-8er, yeah, they know it was the Inshigi that destroyed them. It's ambiguous, but let's just say that everyone just assumed it was the Inshigi. So that's, I mean, they went into a dark sector. They know it was a banned place. Suddenly, the Gate Strider star is destroyed. Everyone just said, "Oh, that's the Inshigi." And so when they found Em-8er, they docked home around it. And somebody asked, "How do they fit home through a gate?" Gates don't. They're not actually circles. It's not like Stargate, right? A gate is actually a sort of like a I don't know, a structure in space that creates a space-time disturbance alongside of it. So rip in space-time. So that's how they got through, and any vessel of any size can sort of go through that given sufficient energy. No, jump gates in Babylon 5, there's still you still go through that jump gates, I'm talking about there's like a warp field that's created around this structure and that anything can sort of tap into. Ever see those Tesla balls, and where the energy arcs from the center point to wherever you touch the glass? Imagine that your fingertips are the spacecraft, and as long as you're near that point, the energy arcs to the spacecraft or the space station, and then you can immediately warp at that point. That's what I'm thinking of it now. And I want to thank the community for this because they pointed out that home couldn't fit through a traditionally visualized gate. And so we retconned it, we modified it so that it was more like that sort of effect. I've never seen the cartoon Transformers. Don't shoot me. I grew up on Asian anime overseas, man. And Transformers is kind of American. It's an Americanization of it. Or maybe it was just past my a little after my time. I don't know how much of it was actually animated in Japan and how much of it was animated when it was here. So that is the history of Ember, and I'll go ahead and post the timeline again. And then I'm going to post the skin again. Then let's talk about OPAI. Okay, so now you've got the timeline for Ember, and we've never shared that before. That's completely new information. And we reserve the right to edit it if the community finds massive plot holes. You find a plot hole, we'll fix it.
I think that's better than the norm. Plot hole, too bad. Too bad. Take it. I like the idea that we can fix it.
Yeah, if you find something really wrong or broken, then they hey, you can't fit home through a gate. Then we're not shy about retconning that. How many of you? How much of that was new to you? How many of you didn't know the lore and that this was kind of like eye opening for you? Hmm. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I was able to share that then. I know not everybody likes to read. People prefer things like audiobooks and stuff like that. And some people just don't like to read at all. They're just like, let me play the game and absorb the lore through osmosis. Yeah, it seems a little strict, doesn't it, Kerbonaut? Exactly 150 years? Nah, I think we'll add a little fuzziness to that just to let it ring more believable. Pick an odd digit. It's not exactly 150 years. 151. Point two. Oh, thanks, Chaz. Please ban me. I think that I want the lore to be available in game. I really do. I'm going to make that a stretch goal for the Kickstarter is to put a story into Ember. I'm very much inspired by Final Fantasy 14. I didn't play that game until recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where have you been? Because it sort of marries my love of making MMOs with my desire to one day make a JRPG. Because I don't know how many of you know that I love JRPGs, and when I had the time to play them, they're very influential in my life. Chrono Trigger is best game, right? That's right in my Twitter bio. There is going to be a novel, Mako, and the novel is being drafted. It's kind of like a prequel to. It's basically describes the first contact with the Sihu and the start of the Kaiju Wars. Do you want us to? Okay, Kermit asks, Gram Sama, do you want us to make fan concept art for the colony ships? Because I would totally do that. You mean the 28 colonies? Sure, go for it. We have fan art. We love to share fan art. We should definitely share some during Chief Chats, I think. Make that a formal thing. Yes, there's an early version of the novel available for free in the download section. Keep in mind that there's no edit pass on that. So the way that we write the book is we just blast through all the chapters and then we go back and then we insert new chapters, delete some, modify characters, and it's not just grammar and spelling. Stuff changes. So yeah, I was inspired by the story of Final Fantasy 14, and looking at the original arc of what they shipped with, that's doable for an indie game because they didn't have a lot of custom animations. They did something very smart. They did a ton of emotes for Final Fantasy 14, and then they used those emotes to tell the story in the cutscenes. And nobody really moves around very much in the cutscenes. It's just sort of like cut to one talking head to another talking head. That's very doable for an indie game. So I think we can have a stretch goal to have something like that in Ember, and I would love to do that. Yeah, they made a machinima framework. That's basically what they did. It was very efficient. We can't do like AAA, cutscenes everywhere and stuff like that. I mean, that's just unfortunately that's not in the cards for a team as small as we have, and the type of budget that we're anticipating. Audiobook, yeah, would be good. I have I have a lot of friends in the indie writing industry who do very well in audiobooks. They're usually top 10, top 10 on Kindle, top 10 on audiobooks. I'm talking about Nick Cole and Jason Onspach, who write the Galaxy's Edge series. And more recently, they have something, the Wargate universe. The Wargate universe is funny. Ever watch the anime Gate? Not Steins Gate, but Gate? It's like that. So basically, it's military units that find themselves stranded in a fantasy land, fighting orcs and things like that, or whatever they find on the other side. And they've sort of like created a whole universe around it. Yeah, Gate JSDF. Oh man, you know what? This is totally random, but I gotta talk about this because I just realized they're reissuing all the Muv-Luv kits. Muv-Luv Total Eclipse, and you know because the anime is coming out, right? They're doing a new Muv-Luv anime, and it's part of the inspiration for Ember because it's related, I promise, because it's mecha waifu versus, at least in the beginning episodes, hordes of these alien things which kind of look like our knee biters. I swear I wasn't channeling them when we made those. And they're re-releasing all the model kits for that, and I ordered them all. I pre-ordered them all, and I can't wait to build them. Anyways, that was my my anime nerd out excitement divergence. Yeah, Love, it's love hate. There's stuff I like about it, stuff I don't. But I like the mecha, and I like how they're like nationalistic. There's just like Pacific Rim, right? You've got the Russian mechs and you've got the American mechs and things like that. I think that's cool. All right, I'm going to share the skin again for those of you who missed it. This is an OPAI skin. It is available today for just $1. We're running $1 promotion for the duration of the Common America crossover event. And I have an announcement to make on that. The Toshi has been hard at work getting the 3D test prints ready. So if you back Common America, you get a Gate Strider version of Common America as a statue that you can 3D print. And oh my gosh, I'm so unprepared. Do I actually have a picture of the statue or not? Yeah, I do. Okay, so this is the statue you can get. And actually, there's a video too. So I'm just going to put up the statue first. And then I'm going to put up the video. And we're doing this because we think we want to support indie creators. I think that's very important to form a network of indie creators, like minded indie creators who don't care about censorship, who just want to tell entertaining stories, who aren't afraid of waifu. And so we found a great partner with Tim and Mark from Common America, and they're doing a Kickstarter right now. And we said, hey, we would love to get in front of the eyeballs of your fans. They have about as many people following them as Ember has. And so we thought it would be a great sort of cross pollination. And so we said, hey, why don't we adapt one of our game characters and you know, feature it as a 3D printable statue for you guys. That's just freely available to anyone who backs at any level will be able to download this file and 3D print it. And Toshi has been prepping it for 3D printing. It's going to be 30 centimeters tall, and it's a big one, and it's optimized for resin printing. So um, those files will be available to anyone who backs our Kickstarter. Let me send you the link for that. We are cross shilling here. They're going to shill for us too. So, forewarning. And they have a long Kickstarter. So you have a lot of time to back this. But this is where'd it go?
speaking of cross shilling, I implore you all to join the official Ember Twitter. We're doing a lot of Common America mojo over there, cross shilling at its finest.
Yes, and they've been retweeting our stuff too, so we're grateful for that. And we're also
Yeah.
on their, we're getting access to their mailing list, so they will be, because we're doing, this was just part one. The statue is part one of the Common America crossover event, and part two, which we haven't revealed yet, will be on the 22nd, and we're going to have a special Chief Chat on the 22nd, and we're going to have them over as guests again. And this is Tuesday. This is a Tuesday instead of a Thursday. So be prepared for that. That Chief Chat's actually going to be on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday, and that is going to be the second part of the crossover event with Common America. And we'll show you what that's about on the 22nd. Yep. The crossover chat up made me upgrade my pledge 400%. Yeah, they're doing great. They have like, I think the record was 2,500 backers before. Now they have 2,643, and it's not over yet. That's just the first half of their Kickstarter, and they've already raised $119,758. And they're going to blow away their past record for Volume 5. And they were actually worried about this because, you know, Volume 5 is the start of a new story arc, right? They already concluded the last story arc. And the way it was explained to me by Tim was that the second story arc traditionally in manga does not do as well as the first story arc in sales. So they're really thrilled with this, and they're really happy with the crossover event. Yeah, the omnibus is nice. Being able to do that as an add-on. The way you get that is you pledge, and then you can add an omnibus to it during your checkout process. So we're doing part 2 on the 22nd, and we're going to be streaming Ember Copa again, because we want people who are, we don't want the new eyeballs to see our work in progress in Unreal 5, which is totally untextured because it's meant to look like a prototype. We want them to see something a little more finished, which is why we brought Copa back. And again, I'll call on the community to help us out and welcome everybody. Yeah, we're going to party in Copa, Shelly. Copa's back. No, not right now. 22nd. So you can, it's in the download section. You can go ahead and grab that download and be ready for it. And on the 22nd, you know, we can all hop in there, and I'm going to prepare a more concise explanation of the game for all the new peeps. Last time I tried to do it off the cuff and it was way too rambling. And if you didn't know Firefall, if you didn't know a couple other things, I think it lost some people. So, hey, live and learn, right? So the next one, I'm going to script it out. I'm going to write it out more. And hopefully we can do a much more concise presentation, which we can edit into a video and upload it. By the way, your downloads seem to take a long time, says Carnage the Hydration Enforcer. Is it like that for everyone? What country are you in, Carnage? Because our downloads are shared on AWS, Amazon servers. So they get replicated to anywhere there is a nearby AWS data center. So if you have slow downloads for other AWS hosted sites, that might be a connectivity issue that's local to you. I don't know. Amazon's pretty much everywhere these days, so I'd be pretty surprised if you always get slow downloads. They should be pretty good. Hours. Oh wow. Okay. We'll take a quick look at that. We'll take a quick look at that. It shouldn't take hours because S3 is replicated. The storage stuff from Amazon gets replicated all over the world. Maybe we don't have a setting right or something like that. So we'll check it out. Thank you for that. So yeah, part 2. I think part 2 is going to be pretty exciting for Ember fans. So I can't wait to share part 2 with you guys on the 22nd. And I can't wait to get more new faces in here. We've actually had more signups on Discord, more signups on forums, and everything else. since we did the Common America thing. And after this, I think we'll get it a little more. And of course, in order to download the free statue, people have to register with our site to access our download system. So they have 2,644 backers now. Maybe they'll have 3,000 or so, and maybe a good percentage of that is going to sign up just to download and print the statue, because you can print this with commercial companies like Shapeways and stuff. Toshi's making sure that it will pass their um, requirements. They have very strict requirements on like thickness of parts and things like that. And Toshi's been doing a lot of work to make sure that the statue will be easily printable. That was feedback we got from the last statue we made, that it was not easily printable. So this time we have prepped it. In fact, let me see if they've done this in an update yet. Let me just take a look, because I don't want to steal their thunder. We gave them some images, some work in progress images for an update. And okay, I don't see it yet. Yeah, they haven't shared it yet, so I'm not going to share it here. I'll share it on the 22nd. It's optimized for 3D printing, not injection molded printing. Oh no, you broke the pilot's head off. That's bad. Keystrider medical technology can fix a lot of things. I don't think it can fix that. So yeah, during the duration of the Kickstarter, I totally got off track running. I was supposed to shill Em-8er too, right? So
A
during
little bit.
a little bit, okay. So we're doing such a good job for Common America. I keep forgetting. It's like, hey, this is a good time to back us too. If you want access to the Copa demo that we'll be doing on the 22nd, you can purchase any newcomer pack, and those are 10% off for the duration of the Common America Kickstarter. Plus the Valentina skin that I just shared, the CSR skin, that's available for just $1. So during the duration of the Kickstarter, you can subscribe and you can get the Valentina skin for just $1. And that's not just a skin; it's a full OPAI. So it's going to have a voice pack. It's going to have a lot of options. And I actually want you to be able to sort of like we haven't talked about this too much yet, but I want customization options for the OPAI as well. I think there is a way that we can make it so that they can wear any skin that you have. So not only their default stuff, but if you've collected skins for your own pilot, that you can apply that to your OPAI as well. The demo you want is not the one called latest. That's a misnomer. You want the official Ember demo for Copa. The latest demo is, because we're on Unreal 5 now, and we haven't updated Copa, nor are we planning to. An Unreal 5 is untextured, and it has temporary demo features like voxel terrain deformation. You can, with the plasma cannon and the assault rifle, sort of like shoot holes in the terrain, which is really cool. But it's not the way it's supposed to work. And there's actually a disclaimer in the demo that explains that too. Let's see. Fry DM says, on a complete side note, I want a ketchup pack back in October 21st. The skins weren't redeemed to me yet, and I bought a bunch of skins during the New Year's sale. Is there something should be able to talk to? You should DM Ronan for the
Yeah,
ketchup pack.
who said that?
Fry DM.
Fred DM, send me another DM. We will take a look at it after the chat.
And if you purchase skin during the sale, you should have those skins right now, Fry DM. If you don't, DM me, and after chat, I'm going to get with M, our web programmer, and I'll forward your information. All right? Because that shouldn't happen. If you bought a skin during the skin sale, that should already be in your inventory. If it's not, that's a big problem. We gotta go look at that and fix it for you. Ketchup pack, definitely Ronin. All right. So yes, so we are having a 10% off sale. We are doing a $1 skin for Valentina. And don't just think about Common America. We're shilling for Ember too. But we understand if you want to do Common America, now's the time to do Common America, and we will. Our time will come around. We're sort of like laying the investment for the future here by building the audience and building bridges with other indie creators. So by the time our Kickstarter comes around, I hope that that's going to be very beneficial for us. I think it's going to be beneficial for us even on the 22nd. It's already been beneficial for us. So that's good too. All right, everybody. I have to keep this Chief Chat a little short today. I don't know how many of you have kids, but it is President's Day weekend for them starting tomorrow. They get a 4-day weekend. And that means I have to pick them up early from school today. So unfortunately, I do have to cut this Chief Chat a little bit short, just a little bit. But the 22nd is going to be a full length Chief Chat, actually longer. We took 3 hours last time. And so on the just Copa side, you just download the Copa demo. We might have something, we might have a surprise on the 22nd. I'm not going to promise anything yet, but maybe something else on the 22nd you'll be downloading too. Okay, I will be sending out an email about the skin. I will be posting it on Twitter. The timeline too. I think I should post that. And I will see you guys on the 22nd for a very special crossover event part 2 with Common America. All right, guys. I'm not going to leave you hanging though. We're going to do a couple raffles here before we end. So Ronan, let's do a ketchup pack. I think we've been doing skins and OPAI stuff. Let's do a ketchup pack now.
Ketchup pack. For those who don't know, over the past several months, we've been doing a promotion where every month, if you're signed up, you get a skin. The skins can be for a variety of things, from guns to mechs, husbandos, and of course, waifus. Oh, don't forget about the pets. So there's a variety of things. Now, the thing about that is, once they're gone, well, it's pretty hard to get them. They come around every so often, but not that often. So if you missed out, you're probably a little bit sad. The good news is, right now, we're about to do a raffle where if you win, you get just about every skin that we've ever done. That's right, all of them for one single victorious moment. If you are lucky, that could be you. Now, to make sure you know how to do it, we're going to go ahead and do a test raffle so you have some sense of how it is done. Of course, it's very easy, so anybody should be able to follow along. Now, what you're going to see here is you're going to see a sentence from Faye, our community coordinator. Underneath that, you'll see a sentence from the Ember bot. And underneath that will be an emoji. It's going to be a notepad with a pencil on it. You're going to click on that, and that will put you in the running. It's that simple. If you click it twice, it will take you out, though, so be careful with that. But other than that, it's super easy. So, Faye, if you would, go ahead and show them the test raffle. And remember, folks, this is the test. You don't win this one. Well, you do win something. You win Faye's thanks. All right, Faye, take it away.
All right. You only win my thanks if you pass the test. So is everybody ready? On your mark. Get set. Go. Looks like 38 people want to pass the test. 40, 42. Ooh. How many people we got here today? Come on, guys. Wrong pencil. Can we break 50? And the winner is
You're lucky, Jillian. Okay, now, if everybody's ready, if everybody gets the idea, we're going to do the actual ketchup pack. Is everybody ready? Do you want the pack? Faye, do we have a new graphic that's all set up for all the latest skins?
we just might. It's going to take a few minutes here. It's pretty big, so y'all are going to want to click on it and open it in your browser. Carnage, do I keep secrets from Ronan? No, never.
Oh, the secrets.
It is a lot of skins.
Quite a few. And I think everybody's ready for it, so let's do that raffle.
All right, is everybody ready? Cross your fingers, hold your rabbit's foot. And on your mark, get set. Click. Remember, only on the notepad. And the winner is Pro IU.
Ready?
Where's Grummz? We need a new nickname. I'm just kidding.
Your name is Pike.
Is that from Animal House?
Pro? I don't know. Pro you? Either way, congratulations. If you don't know already, you're going to send me a private message right away. Let me know that you want a catch-up pack. And make sure you're signed up on Em-8er.com because I will need your ID from over there to actually get it to you. And Grummz, we're back to you.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody again for coming to Chief Chat. And I want to thank Ronan and Faye and the rest of the community team for doing such an excellent job here. Also, Ronan, thank you for getting your, there's people who have been doing some pretty snazzy artwork stuff for the Ember site. So I think it's a good time to put up the link there again for the Ember Twitter account so that you guys can see some of the goodness that has been happening there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm fortunate to have some talented friends. Let's definitely give them a shout out and some thank you to them for the work that they do. Primarily, the artist is doing great work. Thank you so much for that. Sure, he's somewhere listening.
Awesome. All right. I will see you guys next week for the very special crossover event part 2 on the 22nd. Chief Chat will be Tuesday instead of Thursday, and we may have a surprise for you in addition to the surprise that you already think is coming. There could be another surprise that you don't think is coming, but it's actually coming. 2 surprises. Maybe. Maybe one surprise and one letdown because we don't do it. We don't know yet. It's going to be a big surprise. Either way, I'm shocked. See you later, everyone. Take care. Yeah, we're not going to do ASMR. No, we're not going with that meta. I just had to put that in there to answer Lubidet's question. Was it a question? I'm not sure. Anyways, I gotta go. Bye. See you later, guys.
There will be no Ronin ASMR today. I'm not here to be quiet. I'm here to be loud. That's right, anti-ASMR. Thank you all for coming with us on this journey today. We appreciate it. Little lore tidbits were dropped. It was a good time. When we're back, we won't be far from the Common America crossover part 2, and that should be pretty awesome. So remember, if you're interested in Common America, go check them out. If you're not, that's okay here. We're just glad you're here with us at Ember, Team Ember, Planet Ember, the best place because you're all here with us. Until next time, folks, Deep Strike!